Hello and welcome. I'm Shadow of Shadow Gaming, bringing you Programming with Shadow, episode number 78. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at our multiplayer game leaderboard. I guess we'll see what we've got left to work on and working on some cleanup at this point. So we'll just go ahead and hop right in. So open the program. Let's see. So we've still got find player and update score to do. Let's just go ahead and implement find player. So we'll do it the same way. We'll do handle add play or handle find player. We'll pass in a leaderboard manager. Let's see if we can code this one pretty quick. So we'll put it right after add. Private static void find player. Handle find player. Leaderboard manager, leaderboard manager. There we go. All right. So this one shouldn't be too complicated. So we'll just do. We'll start with something like this. Find player. All right. Let's see. So find player. Let's support both ID and name. I'm trying to think how best to do that. What I'd like to do is just to do what I'd like is if there was some logic there, so name had to start with a character. I would like to do it that way. That way we could do some handling here, and if it starts with a number, we search for ID. If it's a letter, we search for player name. But I don't think that's what I set up, and I don't think for my thought, I don't think that would work. So I guess let's do this. We'll have a menu here, so we'll do console.write line search by ID. So we'll do string console.readline or no. So no's the default. So if it's that's why I used it in there. Anytime you're reading them and you see that, that's usually what that stands for. Whatever's uppercase is the default. So what we'll do here is we will do upper invariant. If search by ID equals yes, then we'll do search by, doesn't exist, trying to correct me, search by ID passing in leaderboard manager, else search by name. We may see if we can clean that up later. So let's go add these two. So we'll have a private static void search by ID, passing in leaderboard manager, private static void search by name. Okay. So search by ID is pretty easy. So here we will do console.writeLine searching by ID. Did I do ID? Yeah. Let's do this. We'll add a console.writeLine. This one should be a write. Nope. Let's do this one as writeLine. Console.write, enter ID, string ID, string equals console.read. So now, if we get that, let's just do I've been using int.parse. Let's do that, but we may actually clean that up here actually. So int ID equals int.parse ID string. So now leaderboard manager dot find player, passing in ID. Player. Alright, so we get that player. So if player is null, CW player not found. Else CW let's add a blank line here. Now let's do let's just do player.toString. Alright, I think that will work. So let's just copy this just a second. We'll do something similar here. Search by name. Let's add a here to do, make this more robust. So here we're not doing by ID, we're doing by name. Find player, and we'll pass in the name. Enter player name. Player name. Player name. So now we'll need a find player overload here. Public player find player string player name. So this one's a little trickier. So what we're going to need to do here, I guess we'll just need to search the dictionary. So what we can do, let's do this. Let's do players dot values dot first or default, and we'll give it a predicate. Where player dot equals player name. Is that not the right format? No. Let's see. First or default. Let's see which ones are available. Yeah, that's the one we want. We'll do it like this, I guess. We'll find player predicate equals the format. It's been so long since I've done this, I can't remember the format. Why do I feel like you could do it like this? Yeah, wait a minute. I feel like that should have worked. Does it say it doesn't? Yeah. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. And this will be either a player or no. And return player. I think that's all we will need to do. So what we're doing, we're querying the value structure. So it's just it's basically a list. It's a collection, but we're going to treat it like a list here, and we're just going to say first or default where the player's name matches. I don't know why I couldn't get that the first time. I must have put parentheses around and that confused myself. But that should work. That should give us a find player, player name, and then we just do the same thing here. So let's do some testing here and let's see if that works. So let's see what happens. So we will find a player. Yes, and we'll search for player 2. Player not found. Add player 2, name 2. Find player 2. There, found the player. Find player by ID. ID is 2. Since that's the same ID, it didn't work too well. Let's do a remove player. Remove player 2. We should make that say player ID, by the way. Let me grab the screenshot of that. That's just for my sake. So let's generate a couple players. We'll generate 1,000. Alright, so now let's find a player. Find them by ID. We'll search for ID 42. Found them. Let's find a player 1,000. Or no. 1000. Player not found. Find player. Yes, enter ID 998. Found them. So yeah, I think that works for find by name. Well, let's do a name as well. We'll search for 747. There we go. Okay, I believe that's sort of working. So first things first, let's go to remove. Let's do enter player's ID to be removed. See, we could probably add a remove by name as well. There could be multiple names. We'll do it like this. We could say there can be multiple names. IDs must be unique. Let's do that. Did we already do that? Let's make sure. Yeah, we already did that. So add player here is going to handle unique. Yeah, so if the IDs are not unique, it fails. Yeah. Okay, so we already did that, so good. Okay, so there's just one of the missing features. So the last one is update score. I'm going to hold off on update score. Let's do this. Let's add the handler just to get the handlers all in place. Handle update score, passing in leaderboard manager. So we'll do private static void handle update score leaderboard manager throw new not implemented exception. Okay, so that moves that one down. So now all these except exit. So what we're going to do, let's do this. That one's easy. Handle default case. It doesn't even need that. Static void handle default case. And we'll just print this. Now I'm doing that just in case I want to do a little bit more work here in the near future, but now we'll just do that. And I think that's all we want to do here. Okay, so we can let's remove our helper here. So now we'll get to actually doing some cleanup. First off, we're not using args. We can just remove that. It tells you here you can do a fix, but then it doesn't find the fix. Yeah, I don't know what Visual Studio is trying to do with that kind of stuff. All right, so we sort of got this in place. So let's see. See, what if we add a lot of players? It seemed to work fine when we're adding players. Oh yeah, that was, we wanted to do some performance measurements. Let's do this. Let's make a more robust integer handling. So let's do this. Let's do let's just do this entire pattern. Let's do let's do it like this. We'll do private static int get user input string prompt, something like that. So let's do this. So we will do console.write prompt, and now we'll just do prompt so I'm going to consider adding the colon and spaces, not part of this. So let's do it like this. We'll do this. And at the end, we'll do that and space. So that's what I'm going to default to, and we'll see if we need to adapt that. So now we do that. So now we'll just grab the string, input equals console.readline. All right, so now let's put this in a do while loop. Do this. Int output so now var no bool valid equals int.tryparse input output while not valid bool valid. Return output. So here, if it's not valid, I think I want that to be a while loop. I'll not convert that. Interesting. Okay. While not valid, I'm not having any luck today with formatting. Input not a valid integer. Please enter a numeric value. And then we do it again. I guess we could just do this valid break. And then we could say this. I think that would work actually. So now we do the prompt, get the value. If the value is valid, which it could be converted to integer, we break, and then we just return it. Else we say it's not a valid integer, please enter a numeric value, and then we do it again. Let's add another console write line here just to get a blank space, and let's do it like that. So there's just a helper to do numbers. So the thing that's going to be interesting here is this is going to be hard to test. So what we're going to do is we'll eventually move that out to make it easier to test, but we don't have any tests yet. So let's do this. So we will do int id equals get user input, passing in enter ID. So that'll get us in our ID. Then we grab the name. Score goes into an integer, so we'll do int score equals get user input, enter score. Now we can just pass in the ID here and the score, and that addresses that to do. So let's make sure that it still looks alright, but I think it will. So let's see how that looks. Add player. Enter ID. I need to capitalize ID 22. Looks like that worked. Show to the top player. Okay. So capitalize ID here. So there's one thing. I'm doing that in a couple spots, wasn't I? Let's see. Probably should do it here. I'm doing that in a couple spots though, so let's do that. Let's make a helper for that as well. Let's do a private static string generate matching length. Generate separator. There we go. So I'm just matching it, so we'll give them a string. Does it even need to be a string? Wait a minute. Okay, what I'm thinking is we could just do this. Instead of generate separator, let's do generate header. We'll pass in string content, and then a car separator. Let's do it like this. So now we will do a string, and we can do a string builder, but I don't think it's probably required here. String. Alright, so we'll do sb.append line content, sb.append. Let's see. I think there might be one of these we can do. No, not really. So separator and then repeat count. Separator content length. There we go. I think we can do that. So let's try that now. We will swap this for CW generate header, add player. I may want to do two around that, so I may want to have two ahead of that. One in front, one behind. There should be a character. Alright. No. Oh. There. Okay, so generate header. Let's see if that works. I believe it will. I probably want an extra line after that though. Enter ID 1 1. Yeah, let's add a extra line after that. Let's do it like this. We will do. Let's see how it looks if we do add two extra separators. So sd.append separator, sd.append line separator. Separator.toString, unfortunately. Let's see if that works. Yeah, but then it goes over. So we want a space in front of the other one. Append a space, and now let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think I like that better. So now we can do 42. Field has a score of 88. All right. So I think I like that. So we'll do that for now. We may make other adjustments there, but I think I like that. So let's do that up here. Let's do I'm doing an empty line there. Let's do it the other way. So we'll add an empty line. Then we will do CW generate header. The header is going to be dash 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 leaderboard. So that one's not going to work with the space. I don't think. Yeah, let's make an adjustment. Generate header, bool center. So if center, then we do that. All right, let's try that. We'll make that the default case. Leaderboard. All right, let's see how that looks. Got both leaderboards. I actually don't think I like it with that, with the underline actually. Yeah, I think I liked it better without that actually. Never mind. Let's see how that looks now though. Yeah, I believe it looks better with it like that actually. We'll just leave that then. All right, let's see what else. So we have this get user input. We can use that here in some other places. Here. Now we can do a CW generate header, find player, that gets rid of these two lines. Search by ID. Here we can do the same thing here. Header, searching by ID. Enter ID. Here we can do that. Int ID equals get user input. Enter ID. That should handle these two lines. Yeah, I think I like that. So we'll do it here as well. CW generate header, searching by name. Here, let's make an adjustment. Here, I think everywhere I'm using it, I'm using the separator as. So we'll just make that like that, and then anywhere we use it, we can just say add player. But we gave ourselves the option if we need to change it. And in fact, probably should just drop the separator, but I could see not wanting to do that because I might use an equal sign here in a minute. But for now, everywhere I can think of I would do this, I want to do it like this. So searching that name, enter player name, good. Player ID to be removed. There we grab the ID, so we will do int player ID equals get user input. Enter player's ID to be removed. Let's do this. Let's do CW generate header, remove player. So we'll add a header. We will get the ID, and we will remove set ID. Player ID. We'll leave this to do for the moment. What I'm thinking there is maybe we'd want to say player name or player ID, and then maybe in parentheses or name was removed. I'll keep that one because I'm not sure on it. We'll do this. I'll add a header here. Generate header. Show top players. Int display count equals get user input, and we'll pass in how many players to display. See, that one's going to have that one's going to be a little odd because of how I did that. Let's do it like this. We'll make it less odd. Number of players to display. There we go. So here we'll do another CW. Generate header. Something like that. And we'll come back to that one and generate players. We can use it here as well. So we can do int number to generate equals get user input. Enter number of players to generate. That cleaned us up a little bit. So let's see how some of these methods look now. So add a player, we'll add player 1, 1, 1. Generate player, number of players to generate, 99. Player 1 already exists. Yeah. Whoops, my bad. 7, 99 players. Add player, player 1. ID already exists. Good. Okay. Let's do a find. We'll find by name. Look for player 42. Okay. Find player by ID. Also player 42. Good. Found the same player. Let's show the top 5. Okay, I think that looks alright. Here now let's see the entire rankings. Leaderboard's at the end. Okay, yeah. Maybe instead of leaderboard, I actually like leaderboard there though. And those aren't lined up at all. So that would be the next thing I'd like to work on, is lining those up maybe. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good reset. So right now we're using some tabs, and the tabs, since these are so much longer, they don't line up well. So we want to do some kind of header and do a little bit of math to calculate maybe a number of spaces to put on the sides. Maybe we'll think about that and come back to that one. But that took out a couple of our to-dos. So the big to-do that's still coming is update score. I think that'll probably be the next one. And after that, we're going to start trying to test some of this. So we'll see if that's how fun that is. So let's check our task list. See if we can't combine remove logic. I wonder if we could combine what we added today. Where did we add it? Search by name, search by ID. Let's see if we can combine it since it's effectively the same thing. Maybe private static void. So search result. We'll pass in a player, and just do that maybe. So we'll do a console route line. Something like that. We could probably pull out the get user input here, and like I said, we'll probably have to for when we go to test some of this in a little bit, but I think that's all right for now. We'll separate them though, so that's a little shorter. Maybe makes more sense, maybe. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's see. We can make this a ternary if we wanted. I don't think I do, but guess we can't. Never mind. I don't hardly like that. What I'm imagining maybe is if we do like a user input helper or service or something, maybe there's a yes no. Maybe that might make sense. We'll do it to do if this should be a yes no prompt in a user input service. So I'll think about that and see where I come up on that idea. That might work. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we're gonna do for today. We're about out of time as well, so we'll see if we actually use this handle default case. I have a thought there of what I might want to do, but we'll see. Yeah, I feel like that was a good cleanup though. Good walk through what we did. So maybe next time we'll look at actually updating the score. So updating this. Yeah, we'll look at that next time. I won't go ahead and mention it, but maybe we'll look at finishing the functionality and then maybe start trying to test it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and call that there though. So maybe next time, maybe a little more cleanup, maybe finishing out the functionality. But we'll go ahead and call it. So thanks for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.